when something drastic happens to you, you think about like, what's the spiritual meaning? I thought about it a lot. And I think every time you have a charitable thought, do it. I mean, honestly, like being out on the food truck and serving 30,000 people who got affected by the fires made me think a lot less about my own experience.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Industry Only at the Cheese Store. I'm Dominic Bartolomeo. This is Andy Wong. And today we have our special guest from Lime Truck and Snibbs, Daniel Shemtob. And I actually made some carnitas fries. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, they made them together. Let's be clear.
That's right. We made them together.
Excuse me. Yeah, this is something that the Lime Truck is known for doing,
and we doesn't do this that often. Thank you for correcting me on
that. and we just upgraded it. Yeah, it's like Dom woke up early, hand cut fries.
Slaving over this stove. I marinated this pork for 4 days.
This is important.
He's actually been staging for 3 days at the Lime Truck to get it right.
This is a collaboration, and this is important because this is the type of thing that might get served on the truck or at the cheese store in the future. So just tell us about the cheese that you used to upgrade this.
Okay, so today...
not to upgrade this.
Not to upgrade. Just like our little twist on it, right? Like, yeah, it's like a little cheese door twist on an absolute staple classic. How's that?
Fair enough.
All right. So today we used an Old Quebec cheddar, which is a cow's milk cheddar that's aged for 7 years from Canada. I love it because it's nice and sweet. It's a little bit creamy, and it definitely has this like really sharp flavor to it that goes so great with the fries, with the pork, with the guacamole, with the red onion, little pickle, little spice. I love it, bro. What'd you think?
I thought it was amazing. I mean, we tried a few other ones, and this one was definitely the king.
I agree. It was awesome. All right, so here we are. Bro, Andy, like, what are you doing? You haven't said a word, and you haven't interrupted me yet.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get into it. We're about to change the tone of the whole thing because it's like this is so jokey and light. But no, Daniel, you, Dom, and I were talking, like off camera about tariffs and how it affects your business and so many other businesses, and we can maybe get into that later if we want. But one thing that I keep realizing over and over again as I do this podcast is that hospitality people, and entrepreneurs, and hospitality people in most cases are entrepreneurs. They just have to be resilient all the fucking time because things shift, things change. You think things are under control, and you've already decided that you've picked one of the hardest industries and maybe the hardest city in America to do it. And then there's just, and there's just like more salt poured on everything, right? So I don't know, Daniel. I mean, I don't know how much about this trifecta we want to talk about, but you donated a lot of your Snibbs shoes. As part of the wildfire relief that you did with the Lime Truck and Snibbs, you did this after your own fucking house burned down, a house that you got in the Palisades because you were going to raise your new family there, and you were looking forward, to this new future, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, tell us as much as you want about the day that you found out and how it didn't take very long for you to just be on the front line, just doing what you do.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I remember it very well. It was Tuesday morning at 11:07. I just started a sales call, and my wife runs in the house and she's like, you got to come outside and see this. And I had a prediction that month we were going to meet a UFO. And so I was really hoping that we were going to go out and see a UFO. And so in my mind, I was like, let's go see it. And then I see there's a hill on fire like 2 miles from our house. And so, I'm kind of looking around and I'm like, I think we could just go back. I mean, this seems pretty far away, and there's planes over there. It definitely felt controlled. And I look over and one of our neighbors is packing art in his car. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, why is this guy packing art in his car? And we started laughing kind of at this guy. Like, this guy is such a like scared person that he thinks that this fire is going to come into what they call the downtown Palisades. Yeah. And we basically were like, let's just beat traffic. We're going to evacuate for the evening and come back to the house tomorrow. And so I was like, well, I'm going to finish up my call. You can leave. So she leaves. I finish up my call. I realize I haven't had lunch. And the only thing I grab other than...
And she's pregnant at this moment, right?
She's 6 months pregnant. Yeah. Wow. So we did move to the Palisades to start our family. My in-laws were building on our street. My brother moved there from Hollywood. Her brother moved there from the Bay. So we were all in this one little area thinking we were going to build our life over there. Yeah. And so I grabbed turkey meatballs that we made out of the fridge. And I'm like, well, if I'm stuck in traffic, at least I have something to eat. And I'm continuing my leadership call with my whole team in traffic, eating meatballs, like not even thinking that I'm leaving my home for good. And, later that night.
Yeah, how could you be? Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, and later that night around 11:30, we have like a wireless or remote alarm system, and it was like smoke detected in roof, smoke detected in living room, smoke detected in your house is fucked, and that's how we got here. And so it was crazy, and like I have a pretty amazing wife, and she's always supported me and lets me work crazy hours, and really just is like the rock behind me. And I saw her really freak out. I mean, she's in nesting, right? And so losing all of that. We're staying at my wife's aunt's house with 2 other people that were evacuated. My in-laws had been building this house for 4 years, that they're worried that their house is gone. And it's just uncertainty and depression. And, you're upset at yourself because you're like, why didn't I grab more things? And my mom passed a few years back, and I split that stuff between me and my brother's house, which we both lost our houses. And so things that were, irreplaceable, and just like you're going through all of these motions. And I have one way of dealing with depression, and it happens very infrequently. But when I do, I take like 15 baths a day. So that's how shit's gone really bad for me, is I'm in and out of the bath nonstop. And so the next few days, it was like that. I think the water bill probably went up to like, who knows. And then Friday, I had a visitor who also lost her. She didn't lose her home, but her kids lost her home. And she was mopey. Like, don't falter or anything, but she was just like really depressed, end of the world. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, I don't want that. And I think that's when things snapped in me. And I had always supported World Central Kitchen. And they were like, we have an event for you in the morning. And, I was called to service. And that first day of being on the truck and serving people, it changed everything for me.
Right. So before we talk about you giving away the shoes, let's talk about what Snibbs is, right? Because you're making a better product for, like tariffs aside, you're making a better product for service workers, right?
Yeah.
And it's useful and it's functional, but it's also stylish. So tell us about what Snibbs is, and then tell us like where you ended up giving away these shoes. Talk about how you like helped me out at Industry Only if you want. Doesn't have to be about that, but it's like you've gotten a lot of people these shoes and they've been really useful.
Yeah, thanks. So I had a really bad slip in the fall when I was 24 in the kitchen, and slip disc, herniated disc, out cold. And I was wearing the wrong footwear. And at the time I wanted to look cool, because every young chef who's opening
right, so
their
you're
own
wearing
restaurant,
like streetwear. You were like wearing cool kicks, and
Vans.
They sucked.
Yeah. And it's like, and I couldn't open my restaurant, which as a chef, if someone is setting up your line in your kitchen, it's kind of it. Like you could go back and try to like align, set up the line the way you want it, but it's kind of like the deed is done. And so I'm watching all of this unfold. It's not what I want. And I go into this depression of like, why am I not wearing the right footwear? Why isn't anyone making good shoes? Partner with one of the top orthopedic surgeons in the world, Dr. Snibby. Go down.
Way. I was gonna ask. That's great. Yeah, he's the greatest guy ever.
You know Snibby?
I know him really well. Yeah, he's awesome.
This is the amount of the research that Domus does, but this makes me happy that you know Dr.
I was
Snibby.
Thinking like why like I was gonna say like where'd that come from? That is so cool. Man.
Yeah.
Great guy, solid, awesome guy.
He's amazing.
Love it.
Yeah. So Snibby, and then one of my high school best friends, which is pretty fun. And so for 5 years, I'm like, and I did it like a chef, which spoiler, don't do it this way. So in my mind, I was like, I don't want to look what everyone else did, because everyone in the footwear industry takes a shoe, copies it, and then puts their brand on it. And that's kind of how you build the basis of a shoe. I was like, well, there are no good shoes in our industry, so I'm going to make my own. And so 48 revisions, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, 2 trips to China, and we launched our flagship shoe, the Space Cloud, in March of 2020.
This does sound like you're saying like a chef, you're not wrong. Remember like when Jerry Greenwood was telling us about the research they would do to open
the Argentinian grill
right.
and all the
or like
the 27
how
trips
long
to Europe and like the 40
right.
meals in 3 days.
Or how many iterations of hummus Ori made before he decided this is the one?
That's the one.
That's complete chef shit that you did.
Yeah.
And that's also, you're right, completely ridiculous to do that for a startup e-commerce business.
Oh my God. Yeah. And luckily it was our money. So we just were like, hey, we're launching one product. Let's launch it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we end up launching it. Worst time in the world, March of 2020. Hospitality shoe, the industry shut down. And the crazy part, which I'm really proud of, is we took it to a biomechanics facility called Helix. This guy, Dr. Gray, is like the inventor of all of the robots that test shoes that Nike buys. They work with every company. And of all the shoes they've ever tested, from Nike, Allbirds, Dansko, everybody, our shoe tested #1 for insole and midsole resilience, which is what protects your lumbar and we wanted to set out to do. And so I was so inspired. I named the company after Dr. Snibby. I said, this is Snibbs. He has got a great name too. And then we hit the ground running, and we always wanted to keep, we always wanted to be idealists in the business, give back to our community, because I think hospitality workers are the lifeblood of the world. They serve others. Like, that is insanely special. So if we give back to them, we do best in class sustainability, we have biodegradable materials, and we make cool product that feels good and is actually good for you when you're on your feet. I mean, that's it, right?
And then tell me about, you know, how you really got the culinary world involved, because I know you work with Andrew Zimmern, you know, he's an ambassador in some ways, but your last shoe dropped, and the first thing that I saw about it, I think that same day, was just Andrew Zimmern posting about how dope he thought it was. So tell me about like how these collaborations, are these just people you know? Did you reach out to them?
Yeah, so Headley and Bennett, I've known Ellen since I think her 4th day in business. And
yeah,
so,
I have that shoe. It's very good, Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so Ellen, I've known. Andrew, I met through somebody, so I didn't get to know him prior. But he, you know, we learned this very early. We started to partner with a bunch of different chefs. The Nancy shoe that we're coming out with is the coolest shoe I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And so
everybody's getting shoes.
You
and
can't
I'm
get
not.
Nancy Silverton
I
to
can't even
show
get
up to
one
this
off the shelf.
podcast.
No, she said she'd do it.
Oh, okay, great.
Hold on. I can't get like a stock shoe online, but yet everyone's getting their own like shoes.
We'll get you some. We'll
This
get you
is
the cheese shop
unreal,
one.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So go ahead.
So, and, but the thing is that we learned this very early. Chefs, some of them are very into personal style, fashion.
Yeah, they love it.
They love it. And so if you, in that first call, even if I know that this is an amazing chef to work with, I want to see, does this guy think about footwear? Is he going to be one who calls us with ideas at like 3 a.m? Or is he going to be someone who's like, oh, just pay me and call it a day?
Yeah.
And so far, we've been really blessed that everybody we've worked with has been really passionate about product.
Yeah, so, you know, I do want to thank you publicly on this podcast, too, because, you know, you sponsored shoes at a couple events that we did. You were part of the chef conference that we did at Chow Now. We did something at Resorts World during Pizza Expo, after party for Pizza Expo. We gave shoes to some of the chefs. I think a chef from Bettina in Santa Barbara just posted the pair that he got. And then he was part, even though obviously you were home with your new family, so you couldn't make it. You were part of this Pisa Palace drop that we did, you know, which helped us raise money for wildfire relief too. You know, a lot of us have started this charity, as you know, called Out of the Fire LA, that's benefiting displaced firefighter families directly. So, you know, one, thank you for that. But two, why do you think it is, beyond the obvious reasons that hospitality people take care of people, that like there's so many people like you who, you know, like we have Mark and Med coming in later from Genghis Cohen. They did thousands of meals too, right? How did all of you just arrive at doing this independently when you're already in, you especially, Daniel, you're in 2 of the hardest businesses where you should just be trying to squeeze out margin and pay your people, but you're just like, no, I got Chet. I can give it away right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I would say I thought a lot about when something drastic happens to you, you think about like, what's the spiritual meaning? Like, why am I going through this experience? Because I believe we choose this path. And so I thought about it a lot. And I think I'm always, every time I'm called to service, and I do, and there was a mentor that said, every time you have a charitable thought, do it. Right. Every time you squash it, it's going to feel worse. And every time you do it, you're going to feel better. And so I just feel like every time I get the choice between good and whatever the other option is, I want to take the option of giving back. And so,
right.
I don't know. Yeah. Also, it helps me. I mean, honestly, like being out on the food truck and serving 30,000 people who got affected by the fires made me think a lot less about my own experience.
Yeah, a lot of people deal with their own grief and trauma through like helping people. I mean, certainly a lot of hospitality people do.
I would say
know?
maybe, yeah, if you've been around enough hospitality people, you'll know there's a little bit of trauma there.
Yeah. So let's talk about the early days, a little bit of grinding, you know, just the actual grinding, right? Because there was a whole movement. It's crazy when you talk to a lot of people now, right? Like we had Leeway from Joint Seafood. He had a fucking boba truck, right? You know,
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, he was the boba truck,
okay,
right?
Okay.
It was like him, Roy Choi, the guys from Soul Sausage, who obviously you know and have crossed paths with and all that. But talk about being in sort of an early pioneer of that food truck movement where it was LA food. You were obviously like melding things together. And, in a very LA story, like you got TV exposure and you did a lot of that stuff early on before, most people knew that much about competition shows, Food Network, besides shit that started in Japan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give us the, short version of that story about how you had a food truck and then it kind of went supernova for you.
Andy, I can never give a short version.
Okay.
Why?
What's interesting too, no, I had to say, so like, what's interesting too is like, I equate the farmers markets to the food truck. Like,
Yeah.
everyone goes to the market and you see, like, you sell, like, and whatever it is, it's from 7 to 1 or 7 to 2. Like, that's the easiest part of your day, selling the product.
Yeah.
It's all the shit that goes into it.
Yeah.
And the parking, the prepping, like, that is one of the hardest things. I thought, like, farmers markets were hard. And I at one point, I was in, like, 19 of them.
Yeah.
And I was grinding, working, like, and like that's a grind, dude. That's like really, really hard work.
Yeah, so
like,
we don't need it. We don't need a short version, but I guess let me ask the question.
I'll give you a short version.
we'll part to it. We'll part to it.
Let me ask you the question another way, and then you can talk about whatever you want for as long as you want, right? Hospitality is about both things being true at the same time. I'm doing the most glamorous shit in the world, and I'm in the weeds.
Yeah.
So talk about that moment where you realize, fuck, I'm kind of TV famous, and then now I got to go back to the fryer and make more fries.
I'll tell you my favorite moment that I remember really well. I got asked to do a private event for Frank. He's a really awesome actor, and he was on like that end where everyone goes in apocalyptic mode at the end of the world, and they go up against each other. Anyways, so I pull up, and I love cars. I'm like, the cars are a very big part of my DNA, and I lost all of them in the fire. And I had an old school Bentley, and he pulls up and he goes, "Only in LA do you get a fucking chef in a fucking Bentley." And I'm pulling out hotels out of the back of it. Like, oh God, this is so embarrassing.
You're driving a Bentley and you're fucking,
so cool.
and your mise en place is in the Bentley.
I love that.
And by the way, it's an old school Bentley, not expensive. I want to preface that. But at the same time, I thought about the visual of this guy is like, shows up to his house making tacos. They're some of the best tacos he said he's ever had in his life. But I'm literally pulling it out of my car. And you think about it, it's like, that job is done at 9 o'clock. But then I got to go and do these dishes back in my commercial kitchen. And it's like, I'm not done till 11:30. And talking about the great food truck race.
Yeah.
So we won season 2. They brought back all the winners. We won the All-Star season.
Can I just ask real quick? Sorry to interrupt you, but like, how did you like, you saw the contest on TV and you decided to enter? Like, did they find you?
They found us.
They found you.
Yeah. So we were a pretty wild bunch when we started the Lime Truck. So the Lime Truck was my first, really, I worked as a busboy when I was 15, and that was about it. And so when I started the Lime Truck, we had no idea how to make consistent food. So we did a brand new menu every day. Like, that's an insane thing to do as a business, but also at the same time, it developed a lot of culture. And so we got asked to be on the show, win that second season, come back, win the All-Star season. And you think as an All-Star, 15 years later, right? We were the oldest team on the show, like, seasons back. And we win, and I'm so ecstatic. I'm like, man, we won. We won half the prize we won 12 years ago. With inflation, that feels like we lost money. And then they're like, cool, you won? Go clean your truck. And I'm like, dude, I just filmed for like a week straight. I'm dead tired. I just did a 15-hour competition. And they're like, no, truck's not going to clean itself. And after, I told my team I would take the load of it because I felt bad because they had been working really hard too. And I said, all right, I'll do the dishes by myself. And I went and I did dishes till like 1 a.m. on my truck after I had maybe one of the most exhilarating moments of my whole life. And so there's always that juxtaposition between grind and glamour.
So going back to the Frank Grillo story, how did winning season 2 like change your life, or did it? Or how did it not change your life? Because that's the interesting part to me.
I mean, it really changed my life. Yeah, I mean, so I think that was early, like you said, food competition days.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Like if you won
How
top,
long ago was this?
I was 22 or 23, 14 years ago.
14.
Yeah, so this is back, like, remember, like, we had Voltaggio on, like, early Top Chef. That shit mattered in a different way because it all felt new, you know?
Yeah.
So it mattered in a different way when you won.
Yeah, also, like, it felt really gratifying. Like, so I had a real estate services company when I was 20, and I went bankrupt.
What haven't you done, bro? I mean, sneakers, he's got trucks, he's got real estate.
Yeah, no, but I went bankrupt because I didn't like what I did. And that was a really early lesson. Like, you got to be passionate about what you do. And so it felt really gratifying to go on this show and then do really well. And I think the biggest obvious was we went from doing 400,000 our first year and operating, I would say maybe 4.5 days a week, which is something you could do on a food truck, to 2.4 million the next year. And like, you know, everywhere we opened, it was like a 200-person line. People driving from Vegas.
Truck, yeah, dude, 2.4.
I mean, but that was crazy. And by the way, I think that year we made like 1%. So it was mismanaged like crazy. But I was 22, 23 years old. Like I didn't know what I was doing. It was
but that's
like,
real money. I mean, that's real money coming in of a food. That would be real money for a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in a truck.
Yeah. Well, luckily we've figured out how to get there in a different way now. But
yeah, no, he's grown and figured out how to make money and all that.
Oh, can you tell me a little something?
I think you're doing pretty good over here.
Let's talk about, you know, making money a little bit. And like, look, we were talking earlier, it's going to be hard to get into specifics because whenever this podcast drops, there may have been 7 zigzags with what's going on with tariffs right now. But can you just talk in general about the challenges that you're seeing as a small business owner and how it could affect Snibbs directly? Just so people understand that it really is, you know, these small businesses, the startups, right? The things that are tied to hospitality, you know, tied to all of us that are going to be affected. You know, not to mention the fact that, like, look, we know lots of people obviously that like sell caviar from other countries, sell tomatoes from other countries, sell cheese.
Why'd you look at me when you said tomatoes?
Because you don't sell caviar. Oh yeah,
I do sell caviar. That's all right.
But no tomatoes.
No, with tomatoes, like it's because I'm Italian, so he right away looked at me for the tomatoes.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So here's my question. I want to pose the question
raising
back.
his hand. If you're not watching, he's raising his hand.
I want to post the question back, which is,
I hope Dom answers it.
I had a long talk. Do you think people like pricing transparency?
So my whole philosophy around, first of all, like I'm a firm believer in that. I did it and I learned that early on in the farmers markets. Like I would say though, you know, what people don't like and what you see, unfortunately, is, you know, you see a lot of people exploiting whatever the issue is for the pricing. So our transparency for pricing right now, you know, with the import business and everything we have going on here, and even, you know, one thing that we didn't even touch on, but like, you know, like packaging costs. The majority of the packaging from your napkins and everything else, it's all from China.
And it goes way up.
Yeah, and it's through the roof.
Products.
And like, so like all those little things, like it's everything. Everyone in our industry and outside of our industry, everyone is impacted one way or another, right? Yeah. So, you know, my take on it is obviously it's been a lot of, you know, obviously they're trying to be leveraged, they're trying to have deals being made and all that other stuff. Like push all that aside. I think it's just temporary. And I also think that, you know, you never want to overreact. My position right now is we're keeping prices the exact same way they are until we have to change them.
Yeah.
And then when we do, I feel like it's justifiable.
My honest answer to you is that people are full of shit, right?
See, that's what I think people think too.
Yeah. People are full of shit. They're like, I want more information. That benefits everybody. I would like it when people tell me the truth. But think about how when people go to restaurants and there's a 3%
they go nuts.
Service charge for health and welfare, or there's just an 18% thing added. And they're like, well, what the fuck is this? This isn't really explained to me. And then it's like, no, it actually is explained to you right there what it's for. And then
they know what?
And then they're like, well, why am I paying for it when this restaurant's already so expensive? So I think the danger is you could do this, and the response from a lot of customers, you know, or if your customers are anything like people who go to restaurants, maybe your customers are a little bit different at Snibbs, they would just be like, well, I just want to buy a fucking shoe.
I don't want to know about your line items.
These 4 things don't matter to me.
Well, yeah. So I don't believe in putting the 16% service. Like if my price is $100, I'll charge $116. I don't need to like itemize. Like we all have our own fucking bills and shit like that. Like just make a price and just run with it.
It's just crazy because it's like I think about this all the time, and I was like, I wonder if a customer knows that right now a shoe that we're selling for $140 cost me $107 to deliver. Right. In their mind, you're still making a profit, but it's like, no, we all know that $33 is not enough to run employees, a business, storage, all these things. And so I've been thinking about how do we, our customer is the restaurant worker. Yeah. We all know the restaurant worker is not rolling in it. Those people they're there because they care about their work and they're not making a crazy amount of money. So price sensitivity is at a maximum. But I just delivered an order to Zappos, one of our best customers, and I lost $6,000. I used to make a 30 margin on that. And I just lost money handing them over shoes because I'm like, I don't want to lose this business that I built with.
Yeah.
But can you imagine taking a hit and selling your product? That is insane. Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at right now. And it's like, sure, it might end, it might change. I've already figured out new sourcing options. Like as a business, I've solved so many of these things, but this was so unpredictable and so crazy that you're just kind of riding the wave. And I don't get stressed out anymore. This past weekend, I was, deep into the
It's
war
hard because you
room.
just keep getting 1-2s. Like it's like the 1-2 punch. It's not just one thing; it's several things.
So I understand that a lot of you probably are going to have to raise your prices, but again, it's like let's revisit this a few weeks from now when this podcast actually comes out because it's all changing. But to answer your question, I think if you raise your prices and then you want to explain why you raised your prices beyond the fact that we're fucked, maybe don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's I like to be told as a consumer exactly. Like I get obsessed with pieces, and I'm like, when I find out that one of my favorite pieces it has a 70% cost, I'm like, oh, they're not making money on this. This was something that they wanted to do because they were passionate about that, and I want to support that art. But again, I think I understand maybe numbers differently than other people and stuff like that. And so.
But for example, right? I mean, because this is another relationship that obviously you know about from being in the other industry that you're in. When you order food, right, and you're on Postmates, Grubhub, DoorDash, wherever, and you look at this fee, this fee, this fee, this fee, I feel like most people are like, I'm just not going to look at this shit at all, and I'm just paying a premium to have this food, and they should pretty much just tell you one price, because it is very, very silly to me that it's like, there's this fee, this fee, this fee, this fee.
I wish people just knew more. I just wish why is it so expensive on Uber Eats? Why is it so expensive? Because we're getting jacked. That's why it's so expensive. Why do you raise your prices for this? And it's like, I don't know. It would be really nice to just, that's me on a soapbox. I just want,
but I agree with you. People come in. Sometimes I get a review about a sandwich. There's no sandwich over $20 on the menu, right? I get a review about a sandwich, on Machalaya. It has 4 different meats, all imported from Italy with imported cheese. On bread that's not even on bread from Spain, what do you expect to buy? It was so delicious, but it was expensive. Okay, well then you came to the wrong spot. Go to Subway, it's cheap, and you know what I mean. Like there's a quality level there. If you're not willing to pay for it, then not. And I said this the other day, not everybody's your customer. So if they don't understand that, then it's hard.
Well, it's sort of like the people who post these things, and even in sometimes professional critics, they don't even really think properly about the relationship that people have with money, right? Because let's say you're talking about the highest end of the tasting menus, right? And there's one that's $800 and there's one $500, and they're like, well, I don't think the $800 one is so much more transcendent. You might be happier just to have the $300 in your pocket. And it's just if you're the type of person who's just going to this shit, you're not thinking about the $300, right?
Exactly right.
But if you're the type of person that's trying to stack Postmates offers, right? To get the, oh shit, if I do this one, I get buy one, get one free pepperoni pizza, and I stack a 30% off. Guess what? Yeah. That person cares more than anybody else, but that's what I'm saying. You have different customers for different things. Yeah. That's what's hard about it.
Well, and that's the problem is that, but you have one platform of reviews. It's I remember my very first, I used to, every time I open something new, I read the first 100 Yelp reviews. After that, I won't read them anymore because I just want to, you lose yourself. But in the beginning, I find it very useful because I'm catching a lot of flaws. Yeah. And then from there, I read them periodically. But anyways, so I remember the third review we had, 2 stars. Best taco I ever had in my whole life, $5. These guys are nuts. Oh yeah, best taco you ever had in your life. You paid something for $5 that was the best thing you've ever had in your life, and I'm not getting 5 stars. Where can I find you and just take you down?
Just literally punch you in the face. Yeah. No, but it is the people that shouldn't be leaving reviews are the ones that leave them.
Dude, but then you look at their reviews too, and I'm sure we do this, right? You look at their other reviews, and you look at their other reviews, and you're like, dude, just
I know. I'm with you, man. I'm with
you. For those of you at home or not on video camera, I guess give a fuck,
he just got all Italian on us real quick.
Yeah.
So anyway, Snibbs pricing. Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Give us a little an idea of where do you sell the shoes? I mean, obviously we're talking about it, we're endorsing it with other chefs and stuff like that. Where do you actually?
No, I wear the Headley and Bennett ones. This isn't me endorsing. This is me I'm a use case, and I've worn this stuff just out to quote unquote parties and cool places and stuff, and it works for that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Where can we buy them?
So mostly on our website. Well, we sell at retailers. Shoeteria is in LA, which East LA, but they're a work store. But it's workwear. So we sell them on our website through Zappos, through other retailers. But yeah, easiest places on our site. And then we have a vision of elevating work and creating workwear. And so I'm wearing one of our pieces that comes out. It's cut and sew. It's all made in downtown LA. And it's
he's wearing a muscle shirt.
Yeah, it's a muscle shirt.
It's pretty cool though. I couldn't wear that, but you look great.
Dom's gonna go have a conversation with his trainer right after this.
So it's too much cheese, but
not enough, Daniel.
Yeah,
not enough.
it's the protein. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like I wanted to make cool products, and then I wanted, you take pride in the brands you wear, and I wanted people to take pride in hospitality and serving others, because if there is more energy around them. When it was COVID and everyone was like, oh my God, yes, you're a service worker. I'm so happy for you.
Give me a hug.
I was like, damn, dude, this is the feeling they should always be getting. Like they felt good coming to work. Like these guys work so hard. I don't know. I just want that brand to do that. Yeah.
I'm actually going to go on the record right now, and we're going to figure this out, but I'm going to buy everyone in our kitchen. I'm going to buy all Snibbs, and I don't want a discount. How's that?
No,
1,000%.
No,
1,000%.
That's too
I'm not even joking right now.
But we'll do it together.
I would love that. I would love to support
it
her if I can. I actually think it's amazing, and I think you're incredible for doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
Let's support. I would love that. I'm not buying Andy anything though, but this is also my way of.
That's okay.
This is my way of creeping in the door.
Industry only just gets shit
Daniel,
for free.
there's a catch though. It's my way of creeping in the door because I do want my own version.
You're gonna get them. I mean, there's
Just
a small MOQ. We're almost there.
well, no, Dom. I don't know. So, to use Daniel's words, right? Like some of the stuff that he makes is pretty swaggy, right? Like this stuff is legitimately like streetwear adjacent in a lot of cases. So, what would you want to see in a cheese store Beverly Hills shoe?
Dude. Oh man, I mean, I'm not really a shoe designer here, but I would say I don't know. I feel like I want to have I want someone to look down like, oh, dude, like that, like it's like maybe cheese store colors, or maybe it's like I don't know, just something kind of cool. Like I'll show you all merch, and maybe we can do something to match the
right.
Okay.
Because we just got our hoodies back, and they're like pretty banging, and we.
But Daniel's a creative guy. You could literally just tell him notes of marinara with pecorino or something, and he would figure shit out.
We'll send him to Piedmont, and then they'll get the smell of the area.
Oh yeah,
we'll bring him back down here.
I'm gonna go there. I'm going there in June for World's 50 Best.
I know.
I can take pictures of like braised beef cheeks or something and send them to you for inspiration. You're just getting up with this brown shoe.
Dude, I think you'll really dig them. I mean, we put so much work. Snibby, 5 years of development for one shoe. This the boot that I'm wearing,
That's
which
so cool.
I'll put this on camera just because I'm obsessed with this shoe.
Love it.
This shoe took us 3.5 years to make. It's got our designer is this like really inventive guy who's designed for all these big houses, and he's obsessed with culinary. So he's a runner, and we realized that heel stability is one of the most important things when you're on your feet all day. But a slip-on, slip-off boot, you don't get too much heel stability because there's not too much tightening here. Mm-hmm. So he put these kind of like Tempur-Pedic nodules that are in running shoes, like $300 running shoes. So it holds your heel in place and keeps you comfortable. So it's like tech like that, where we're taking tech from other industries and we're putting them in the footwear. And then it's got room for your feet to splay, so when you're on your feet all day. So it's just got a lot of tech that I think makes it really comfortable.
Man, I'm already sold. I can't wait. I love it.
Can't wait.
And the fact you have Snibby behind you, come on.
That's it, man. I'm going to bring him in. Right, he'll take payment in cheese.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no. We know. I've paid him in cheese.
So was that your latest drop? Or
Yeah. That was our latest drop, the Pro. That was, honestly, I put in my old shoes, and this is actually a really crazy story. Okay. So one of the things that happens, even though I didn't really think about what I was going to leave in the fire, you do go into your closet and you're like, hey, I'm leaving. Like in the rare case that I'm going to leave, like what do I bring with me? And I have, I don't know, a lot of shoes. And I take a pair of Pros in tangerine, which is a color that's not released. And I started laughing after I left, and I was like,
I want tangerine. I want tangerine. I'm just telling you right now.
Of all the shoes that I was like, I left with my own pair, and that pair has had maybe 2,000 miles on it, 2.5 years of R&D, and they're like beat up as hell, and now they've been through the fire and everything, and I'm like, they've been to Burning Man. I was like, these shoes have
been to Burning Man.
They've been,
these shoes have lived.
These shoes have lived.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, Dom, that would be the thing. You could get
a tangerine-colored shoe.
Is that the color?
No, it's not the color. No, come on. I
okay, so I'll tell you.
No.
No, please tell me.
Okay, so colors, I'm going to give you my custom color.
Give me your color.
Jazzberry jam.
Jazzberry jam?
Have you heard of it?
No.
It's actually kind of cool. I'll show it to you. So it's like, I didn't realize this. So, I bought the cheese store, and we were like figuring out the logo, with the IP and everything. And I'm like, I'm looking. It's so weird. This was the weirdest thing. So the font for the logo of the cheese store is called rigatoni. You can't make this up, right? And the color is called Jazzberry Jam. And I thought, dude, that looks like Jazzberry Jam. I was all in on it. I thought it was hysterical.
That's really good.
I want to show you the new merch, and I want you to like.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you home in a sweatshirt too. Don't worry about it.
The colors make a big difference. We can play with different like types of materials. The box.
But I don't want like Nancy's version with just Dom's name on it. I want like a real legit. Yeah. No offense to Nancy, but I'm not having her shoes too.
Nancy's shoe has taken me 3 years.
Oh, I believe it.
Nancy is so particular.
Oh, no, tell me about it.
And then Liz. If you haven't met Liz, Nancy and Liz is just the combo right there.
Oh man, that's the one too.
They created. I can't show you because it's not out yet.
No.
So here's the thing you'll love.
Yeah.
We were at the restaurant and we had a dinner and she came out and she gave us all these different pastas. And we did all this research and pasta, there's one pasta and I forget the name of it and my designer designed it.
Test me, bro. I think I
can show it to you, but I don't know it.
No.
Okay, so we found out that pasta has the best ability to hold sauce.
Oh,
and
God.
So
I've never heard of a pasta that couldn't hold sauce. Everybody describes a pasta, bro. Tells me, it holds the sauce great.
Okay,
Give me a pasta that doesn't hold sauce.
So
I'm just kidding, bro. Go ahead.
It inspired the outsole, so the bottom of the shoe, because our shoes are slip resistant, they have to be tested. So we based it off of a pasta dish we had at a restaurant, and then we tested it at this Intertech, like ASTM certified, and it performed as good or better than some of our other shoes.
That's awesome.
And so the outsole of that shoe is pasta.
I love that.
Dom, you've got a lot of pasta shapes here. I see this forming.
Yeah, we have like 190 shapes that we do in-house. So
Which is the best at holding sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. None of them. How's that? Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Try the ravioli.
Oh yeah, filled pasta.
Yeah, filled pasta. Yeah, filled pasta also is great.
It's like ravioli. It's like a cloud, like on ravioli.
Yeah. Instead of
see like that. Like,
your shoe should be called the ravioli.
No, my shoe should look like some kind of piece of cheese underneath with all the air bubbles, like the old Reeboks with the thing. We'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll figure something. It's gonna be like an Emmentaler. Like you should be inspired by Emmentaler and look at our shoes.
Okay.
But I love the fact that you have a pasta shape for Nancy. That is so perfect.
It's so cool.
So I want to flip it on you guys, right?
Oh no.
So Dom, what's the version of carnitas fries that you would riff on something like this that you would actually want to do at the cheese store? Would you want to do it as a fry? Would you want to do it as something else?
First of all, I'll do anything that you want to do. How's that?
Fair enough.
All right. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is I actually had a lot of fun trying to, because like you think about what you're going to do and you think about some flavors in your head, but like when something kind of actually hits and you're like, oh wow, that actually tasted better than I thought it was going to taste. Like I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. But like I don't want to be boring and be like, yeah, let's put cheddar on fries because we're not reinventing the wheel here and anything that we're doing. But I just think, like we go back to the quality of ingredients and the pork is amazing. There's a little spice, a little sweetness. I think, not elevating it, but trying something different with like a new cheese. Like I'm sure you've never used Old Quebec on your carnitas, but like
you could say elevating. I think the price per pound on this cheese and Koji cheese are a little bit different.
And there's a tariff now. I don't know if you heard.
If you had been using the cheese store Beverly Hills when you were 23 years old, you would have been making -4%.
I believe it. I believe it.
No, but he would have drove the truck off a cliff. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I would say that I would love to do this and I would love to try. I feel like we should do something really fun at the store. I would love to do something like a one night only. And also, too, you know what we could do? We could
pull the truck up.
Dude, yeah, I'll talk to the people in Beverly Hills, though. But we'll figure something out. But here's what I would love.
I'm a resident now of this neighborhood. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, they probably don't care.
Big shot. Yeah. No, but I would tell you this though.
It's after we lost our home. Thank you very much.
I love you. I would say that I would love to try something like this, and we could even take it a step further if we wanted to. Because you know what we should do? We should do like a crazy collab dinner, and I feel like we get this involved. We get Voltaggio's tequila because he's been wanting to do something with tequila. I feel like we can like have a little night. Oh, I'm not going to be here Cinco de Mayo. That's too soon. We need to figure something out. Let's do something on the patio. Let's do these fries, and I'll do whatever else you like. I mean, you saw our kitchen. Like, we can pretty much do anything.
Oh, we can do anything.
Let's do something really fun.
Do you think it's going to pair with the Big Noise Beer, our friends over there?
1,000%.
Oh, my God. I think I would. Come on. If I could make a cheese sauce out of some of the cheeses that you pick and do a besh and just,
Let's do a night. Let's do a really cool night. I know you're super slam, but let's figure something out.
And also, we're really famous for this. We do a tocino marinade on a steak, so sweet and spicy. Mm-hmm. And that in a quesadilla with the cheeses that you pick.
Let's do something. We got to do something.
We could do cheese.
Why are you tapping me? I'm not involved. I mean, like
you're involved.
Now you're involved.
You're in the middle of us right now.
You're funding it.
All right.
Also, you're in charge of the table scoop.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh God, please. It's taking an hour. It takes them longer to set the table than it does for the actual podcast itself.
Right, because it's like Dom doesn't know how to plate food correctly.
I'm horrible at it, but I do know how to eat it.
Yeah. All right, well.
I see, promise, we're doing something.
I'm in.
He's looking at his watch. We gotta go.
No, I'm in.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he's looking at his watch. All right, so last thing. We were talking about the potential shoe collab. We were talking about the potential, Carnitas Fry collab. You don't actually have to do anything here if you don't want to. Like when we're off camera, you can tell us the truth about what you feel about
I think these are contractual promises.
Yeah.
We said it on camera.
It's all in writing.
Anything on camera is real.
No, but I want to talk a little bit about the future Snibbs or things that you can hint at, or even there's just things that that you're thinking of or dreaming of without revealing something that you can't because of any contracts or anything. What are the other types of collaborations or things that you want to do with Snibbs going forward? Because you're saying you've got cut and sew now. You're talking about you've got a Nancy shoe. So
besides the cheese store.
Okay, so
so when you don't do the cheese store, what are you going to do for real?
When you pass
let's close your eyes. Let's close your eyes, and I'm going to take you to our next spring summer launch. Okay, we're on the coast in Italy, a little bit familiar.
I could totally relate. Go ahead.
And our
You're
next,
going to Positano this summer, right?
I'm working over here.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy's so Italian right now. It's crazy.
So Persians or Italians of that. Italians of that.
Yeah.
It's the nose, bro. It's the nose. We get it all the time.
Yeah.
You know when people come up to me speaking Farsi? Go ahead.
Yeah. So do they really?
Yes.
I'm sure they do. It's here. Oh yeah. Okay.
In Westwood? I mean,
Westwood here again.
In the Palisades, I felt like a fish out of water. There was like churches on my street. It's all white people. And I come back here and I was like, oh, I feel very represented. So this is my community. So the next season, I'm like obsessed with food culture, and our product represents hospitality. So doing colors is extremely difficult and time consuming, and I wanted to pinpoint this vision. So you come to a dinner, it's got long tables, and it's the release of our next season. We have 2 colors, pasta limon and tangerine sorbet. And so everything that you see has yellow or orange, and that's the new season. You sit down at your seat, you get served those 2 dishes, hopefully from Nancy. I begged her. I'm not sure she's going to do it though. Okay.
Dude, I have an idea.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it right now.
Okay.
But I have an idea.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So then we sit down, you have this meal. Then celebrity chefs walk out in the clothes. It's a fashion show, but like celebrity chef style. They're walking out, there's influencers, there's community, and then you leave with a cookbook lookbook. So it's the recipes
that's cool.
into the process. And that's like,
genius.
This is my pipe dream. Like it's a lot of money to produce, a lot of work, but I think that's the next version of what we do is like, how do we tie in the 2 together? Because my whole life, I've always loved food and fashion, and I get to do both. And it's like, I'm bridging the world in my own
Got it.
mind.
So you're going to have lots of other ready to wear products in this lookbook then.
I mean, no, just those 2 colors.
I mean, will shorts have sleeves or no? I'm curious.
No. I understand the
I'm in.
We have a culinary chef coat. That is like our if you're a team player, like Andrew Zimmern has his name there, Nancy has it.
Okay.
So
yeah,
like,
that's what I was asking. Like, how many different products in those colors?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right, a lot, 7. And we're doing one-piece jumpers.
That's great.
One-piece jumpers that I'm custom painting for Burning Man and stuff like that. I mean, it's like it's an art project, but there is a whole commerce backbone.
Yeah.
But I think if you think about our future, there's only 2 things that are going to guide us. One is we need to create lower price products. I think that our price points right now are $99 to $170, and I think that is great, but it alienates some part of the market. Yeah. And I want to elevate the worker. I don't want to make them feel alienated. I want to elevate them. So that, and then just create really best in class products, and then just give back to the community. And then we're looking every year. We like to bring on what we call like our culinary collective, like 1 to 2 ambassadors that will really help inspire our product. Like Bianco was our first one. Bianco talked to us for 40 hours about the needs of his shoe. He inspired a product that is going to live on forever after him. So like having these chefs like influence where we're going, I think is how we're going to continue to be innovative.
That is so genius.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, look, I admire your resilience, to use that word again, given everything that's happening. I mean, we're excited to see whatever the next phase of this is. With or without the cheese store involvement, I'm actually hoping without.
It's totally
I don't want to come set any more tables.
We already signed the deal, dude. It's on camera. It's documented.
All right.
Andy, you're part of this now.
It's a binding agreement.
Okay, so we've started yet another side business. I mean, that's how the hustle works in hospitality.
I love it.
And he told me he had a venture company right before we sat down.
Yeah.
Industry Ventures.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're giving everything. All right. Thanks for being here, Daniel. We're gonna have to sign the NDA right after this.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for having me.